Hello guys and welcome to part 2 of What If Naruto Was a True Uzumaki. Let's begin. We begin 3 years later as Kushina was standing in front of Mito, Menma and Naruto. They were all 3 years old. It was the 10th of October and it was their birthday. So mom, why are we here? You'll find out soon enough, said Kushina, answering Mito's question. As she went through hand signs and put her hand on the door and let go for 5 seconds before opening it. Come on. As they walked in, they felt a pool. As Mema could feel, this pool was similar to when Minato uses the Hydration. As they were pulled far from Konoha, they arrived. What is this place? Said Menma. This is Uzushiragakure, said Naruto. Whoa, it looks like a wasteland. After what were you expecting? Only 20% of the village has been rebuilt. Uzu is very big, and Mom is the only one who's been rebuilding it. So you can't expect it to be done in 5 months, said Naruto, looking at Menma. As Kushina learned this about her children, Mito was the peacemaker between these two. And Naruto, he was blunt. Very, very blunt. Trust me. As Kushina thought that he could even make a Kage cry with his words. And Menma was, how can she put it? Cocky. He thinks speed is all he needs to become stronger. If he's fast, nobody can beat him. Yet she's very aware that Mito would be, if she got a perfect opportunity, could manage to beat him, but that's only in a long shot. Seeing this, somehow that Menma is obviously stronger than Mito, but Naruto stronger than Menma. Even at their age, she could say they're perfectly well above high genin level. Yet there are only 3. Yet Mito could be around mid-genin. Alright, well, you're going to sign the dragoning summoning contract, said Kushina. A summoning contract? Said Menma, but I already assigned father's one. Alright, said Kushina. Then Mito, what about you? No, said Mito, as Kushina smiled. Alright, then you two will sign the dragon summoning contract. Then what am I supposed to do? Said Menma. You'll watch. Watch? You'll get to see a dragon. Okay, I'm in, said Menma. As Kushina may have not seen Menma that much, but she knows how to push his button and make him agree to things. She can do that with all her children, much better than Minato. All he does is say he'll teach them a jutsu, which they all say Hiroshin besides Naruto, and he knows he can't teach them the Hiroshin at their age. Alright, said Kushina, as she went through hand signs and slammed her hand on the ground. In a poof, a big scroll appeared. That's the biggest scroll I've ever seen, said Mito. It's much bigger than the one Dad summoned, thought Menma, as Naruto just looked on. Alright, as she unrolled the scroll. Sign your names in blood. As they both bit their fingers and signed their names. Alright, use these hand signs, as Kushina showed them the summoning jutsu hand signs. Alright, as Mito went first, Summoning jutsu! And then poof, a small dragon with a saddle on it appeared. It was brown with silver eyes and white scales on its stomach. Kushina-san, said this dragon. Oh, hello, Crane. Mito, Menma, Naruto, this is Crane. He is a messenger dragon. It's an honor to meet you three. My guess, you three are Kushina-sama's children, if I'm correct, as the three of them nodded. If you ever need to send something far from your village, I am always in your service, as the dragon poofed away. Alright, Naruto, you go. As Naruto nodded and went through handside and slammed his hand on the ground. As Kushina, Naruto, that's too much chakra! But before she could say it, he was already done. In a giant poof, a ginormous golden dragon with the scales on his stomach being red, glowing red, and pitch black eyes appeared. Kushina, said the dragon. Ryuko-sama, said Kushina, sweating a bit. It's an honor to see you again. So, same to you, Kushina. May I ask why you summoned me? It was not me, it was my son. As the dragon looked up and saw Naruto sitting on top of his head. Hello, my name is Ryuko. I am the dragon summoning boss, said the dragon. Hello, I'm Naruto Uzumaki, he said. And that's my younger sister, Mito, and my younger brother, Menma. Okay. As Menma had stars in his eyes looking up at the dragon, looking at it, the dragon was large, very, very large. He could think comparing this thing to Gamabuta would be a joke. Gamabuta isn't even half its size. It's the biggest thing he has ever seen. As Naruto looked over at the dragon. Yeah, around this, I would say, only a tiny bit smaller than Kurama, said Naruto, as the dragon had a sweat drop. Only a bit smaller. Well, I guess that's a compliment, being compared to the size of the nine-tailed fox, said the dragon. If you ever need my help, you know when to summon me, as Ryuko poofed. Are we done now? Said Menma. No, not yet, said Kushina. Alright, follow me. As they followed Kushina. Where are we going? As they walked through the ruins of Uzu and made their way to a compound and entered. This place is in ruins, said Menma. What is so important that we have to travel so far in here? Come on. As they walked in, they walked into a chamber with billions of swords. Whoa, they all said. Are we here to pick a sword? Said Menma. Yes, we are. You are each going to pick one of these swords. And I'm sorry, this is the fifth time I'm recording this. I'm a bit tired. And you will see by what color it changes to. That will determine what element you'll be using. What do you mean by that? Said Menma. You'll see. Okay, as Menma walked... can I go first? He said. Alright, as Menma walked forward and picked up a blade. as the blade turned blue. Blue? What does that mean? The breath of water. What? Oh no, sorry. I made a big mistake. I mean, it turned yellow. Yellow, what does that mean? Said Minma. The breath of thunder. Thunder? Said Minma. Yes. Sweet! Mito, you're next. As Mito picked up the blade, and it turned blue. Blue? What does blue mean? Blue means a breath of water. Breath? said Mito. Are you talking about the Kenjutsu style you used to slaughter over 10,000 Kumo ninjas during the 3rd Great Shinobi War? Said Mito. Yes, said Kushina. Naruto, you're next. As Naruto picked up his sword, as the sword turned red. Red? Said Naruto. What does that mean? You have the same breathing style as me, said Kushina. You mean... said Naruto, looking at the blade. So we're gonna start with Kenjutsu training now. Hell no, said Kushina. 3? No, you started when you're 7. As they all sweat dropped. Okay, come on. As they... Are we gonna leave them here? Said Menma. No, we're gonna keep them with you now. As they returned back to Konoha. Minma, would you like to stay with us today or would you rather go back to the Namikaze compound? Said Kushina. I'll go back to father, said Minma. What about you, Mito? I'll stay. I'll go back tomorrow morning, said Mito. Alright, as time skip. Many years later, it's been around a few years since it's been 10 years since they got the blades and summoning contract. They are now 13 and in the final year of the academy. As Naruto was sitting in his chair with a blank look on his face 5 years ago. As Naruto was jumping around on rooftops trying to avoid the civilians, as he was trying to make his way to the Inuzaka compound, because his mother was on a mission, and last night there was an incident where the villagers nearly caught him. Now he's trying to avoid them. There's a demon, said a villager. As they saw Naruto, they began to chase him down. Shit, he thought. A few minutes later, Naruto, even though he's an Uzumaki, he's still getting tired because he was running at full speed this entire time all the way from the Hyuga compound. He's running as fast as he can, but he can't do this for any much longer. As Naruto finally collapsed. The demon collapsed! Let's get him! said a tuning. As they all rushed around Naruto, and the beating began. After they were a few minutes later, they were still beating the poor boy down, as they didn't even listen to his cries of stop. As Naruto begged them to stop, but they still didn't. After one more year, his eyes turned red, and he let out a ginormous yell. He blew all of them away, and black rods appeared and pierced all of them through the heart, as all of them died instantly. As Naruto looked around, he could see another mob of villagers coming, but he fainted. As the other mob appeared, they saw all of the dead villagers and tuning and jenning. He killed all of them. Kill that demon! No! Please don't tell me to stop. Please don't tell me it stopped. Yes, thank God. As they were as they began to beat the unconscious Naruto. At the end, Naruto was bleeding badly and had kunais and shurikens and sinbons through him. As the shurikens were all over him, he was unconscious. And then 3 Anbus appeared. One with a dragon mask, the other one with a hound and had white hair, and the other one with a cat and had purple hair. Kill them all, said the dragon. As they were all instantly killed. As the white-haired Anbu picked them up, Naruto, he thought, and rushed to the Senju compound, and Tsunade healed him, but Naruto had a permanent scar on his chest. As Naruto was sitting at the back of the classroom, he watched the students walked in to the classroom, getting excited for the finals of the exams. As he watched the Uchiha, Sasuke Uchiha, he was the son of the clan head. Yet, he's an emo, he could say that. Even though Sasuke was the son of Mikato, his mother's best friend, him and Sasuke aren't best friends. Not at all. But when they were 10, him and Menma would always watch Sasuke whenever he was around Mito. Flashback. It was when they were around 10. Naruto had recently got his score, and from that day he had lost all emotions and only showed the emotions around Tsunade, Kushina, and Mito. Anybody else, they would never see emotions come from him. As Ino Yamanaka, she was one of Mito's friends. She invited Mito to come to a sleepover where she invited many people from the class. And she first invited all the clan heads like her, and then invited only one civilian named Sakura Haruno. As Naruto was only sitting in the back, watching as they did normal sleepover games. I know, said Ino. She said, let's play another game. Yeah, maybe later, said Mito. I need to I need to go have a bath. Okay, hurry up. As Mito went off. Mito, your towel's in. Oh, thanks, Naruto, she shouted. As Mito went in to open Naruto's suitcase and took a towel, remembering that her suitcase was far too full because she packed a bit too many things and had to ask her brothers to put some of her stuff there. As she took out the towels and took off her clothes and covered herself, she went to the bathroom. As she opened the door and went in, the shower's on. Maybe Naruto and Mema turned it on for me, thought Mito. As she went into the shower, took off her towel, and walked in. As everybody heard a scream, Mito! Shouted Menma and thought Naruto as they both rushed to the bathroom. As they quickly opened the door and opened the shower door. As what they saw shocked them. Now, Mito was lying on top of the Uchiha as both of them were naked. So, as they were both frozen, just looking at each other. Still, Mito was on top of Sasuke as the others arrived, and they were as their jaws dropped. As only after they saw that only Shikamaru, Naruto, and Menma were standing. The others were all passed out from a nosebleed. Even Shino, which actually shocked Menma. As they looked forward, as both of them were still, just looking at each other. As Sasuke began to feel a massive amount of killing intent as he looked over. Shit, he thought. As he ran out of there, but accidentally pushing Mito and she hit her head. As Menma and Naruto were chasing him, but it was futile. They were both much faster than him. But before he could die, he was saved by his father. as the parents came to pick them up. From that day, Mito would always stutter around the Uchiha, and Menma or Naruto would always keep an eye on them if they were anywhere close to each other, especially if the Uchiha is, how should he put it, cranky. Nobody knows, only a few people know why Sasuke is such an emo. It's because of his brother became a missing Ned while he was young, he was around 6 years old. Uchiha Itachi. Not even he knows why he became a missing Nen, but all he knows, Itachi's an anime to Konoha. As Naruto could hear two people running over. As Ino and Sakura burst into the room. As Sakura quickly rushed to Sasuke. Sasuke-kun! She said as she sat next to him. I'm so happy to see you. And Sasuke just ignored her. Menma-kun! Said Ino. Ugh, these two are such annoying. Thought Menma. As Ino jumped onto Menma, but Menma quickly sidestepped her. Ish! Jump on Naruto, said Menma, not me. And lose my head? Thought Ino. As last year, all three of them got their blades and already began training with them. As Mito thought otherwise. You'll lose your head if you do that, said Mito, shouting at Ino. Eee! As Ino began to have some second thought on jumping on Naruto. As Aruka walked in, claws, as nobody began to shut up. As he activated his big-headed jutsu. All of you shut up! He shouted as they all shut up. Alright, me and Mizuki will be the instructors for your genuine exam, he said. Alright, let's begin. As they began to walk in and out, most of them walking out with headbands and the others not. As they called Menma, as Menma flashed there before they could say his last name. Alright, first do the shuriken and throw shuriken and kunai to the... As before he could finish, they were all already down with the shuriken and kunai. 10, all of them on spot. Said Menma. This is seriously the genuine exam, he thought. Alright, now do a clone jutsu. Said said Mizuki, as Mema made a clone. Now to the transformation jutsu. As he transformed the clone into Minato and transformed himself into Jiraiya. Very good, now do a substitution. As Menma looked outside and substituted with a kunai. As the kunai was sticking down. As both of them looked down. If you threw that, that would be very similar to the Hibishin, they both thought. Alright, as Menma substituted back into the test room. Very good. Call in Mito after you come out. Got it, said Menma, as he got his headband and went out. Mito, you're next, said Menma, as Mito went inside. As Mito did the same, but transforming into Minato and Kushina. Very good, Mito. Call in your older brother after, said Iruka. Alright, Iruka-sensei. As Naruto entered, as he threw, without even looking at the target, he threw the kunai and shuriken and got 20 out of 20. Very good, Naruto, said Iruka, as Mizuki only nodded. Now, do the substitution, as he substituted with a small rubber on the disc and appeared on top of the disc. Very good. Excellent, said Iruka. Now do a clone jutsu. As Naruto made a hand side. Wait, Naruto! As he made a shadow clone. As 10 shadow clones appeared. As Iruka and Mizuki were looking at him, wondering how is he still standing? That's a joining level technique, said Iruka. How are you still standing? said Mizuki. My chakra reserved is on the level of a tail beast. So yes, I could make 1,000 clones if I wanted to. As each of the clones transformed, as they each transformed into many different people. Who are these people? Thought Mizuki. If you're wondering who they are, these are legendary Uzumakis from the clan. But what about that child? Said Iruka, looking at one of the clones that transformed into a child with purple eyes. His name is Naruto Uzumaki. He's my uncle. He died. He was killed during the fall of Uzu, said Naruto. As Naruto got his headband and walked out, as the rest of them were called in. As after they were done, Iruka was... I'm happy to say that all of you have passed this year. None of you have failed. What am I saying? I am so sorry. I am happy to say that most of the people in this class was passed. I hope to see you all very soon. Tomorrow come back here and you'll be assigned to your teams and be told who your joining sensei is. As they walked out, as Naruto teleported to the forest of death and went through handside and slammed his hand, and as a whirlpool appeared there, as he jumped in, and he was at Uzushirogakure. As Naruto just looked right next to him, staring into nothingness. Naruto could always feel something. And whenever he would bring anything out here. Flashback, when Naruto was 5, Naruto would always play around in the ruins of Uzu. One day, when he kicked the ball, something kicked it back, and Naruto was confused on what it is. Naruto would always play with whatever would be playing back, whether it's chess, tic-tac-toe, anything. Naruto doesn't know who this person is, but all he knows is that it might be a ghost and it's a girl. He knew that. As Naruto smiled and walked down an alley. With Naruto's help, along with Menma and Mito, throughout the 10 years, Uzu is now 50% done rebuilding. As Kushina could always feel something. There was something odd about this. And Naruto would always tell her about his ghost friend. At first, when he told her, Kushina actually thought it was Nagato's ghost, but when he told her that he was certain it was a girl, and she put her hopes down. She could tell there was something odd, very odd about Uzu's destruction, even though both the third Raikage and third Mizukage died at the attack. Still, how could they have fallen? It was impossible. Even if Nagato was still a child, he could have taken out over all of them with the Shinra Tensei. Some Uzumakis would just have to help it, but she was never able to figure out what was wrong. But she knew that whatever is going on, there's something on. It was never destroyed. She could feel it, but the proof was in front of her. But whenever she thought about it, she knew that some Uzumakis had to be alive, and she hoped that Nagato was alive as well. As Naruto walked into the compound day. "Mom," he said, as Kushina was not there. "Naruto," said Tsunade. "You're back," she said. So how was the exams?" "Pathetic," he said. Alright, get some sleep. It's already nightfall. Tomorrow you'll go be assigned to your Genin team. As Naruto went down and went to sleep. The next day, as Iruka was standing in front of all of his Genins, the new Genins of Konoha, the next generation. Before I announce the teams, I would like to say the Rookie of the Year and runner-up. The Rookie of the Year is Naruto, and runner-up is Menma. As everybody clapped, I'm gonna count down, and the Konoichi of the Year is Mito. As Iruka was looking at the three of them with a smile on his face. "Congratulations to you three," he said, as he began to call out the team. Team 7, Uchiha Sasuke, as many of the girls poked up. Sakura Haruno, as Sakura jumped out, "Yes, yes, yes!" And Sai, as Sakura went down. Oh man. Another thing, Naruto knew this Sai wasn't a normal academy kid. He could tell he was around the same level as Mito. And that's impressive because none of them are Genin level, not even close. As he looked over, Sai had a fake smile on his face. That weird fake smile. "Your sensei will be Kakashi Hatake." "Kakashi?" thought Naruto. As Mima chuckled. "Well, you better bring something tomorrow. You better have brought something to make sure you don't get bored," said Menma. "What do you mean?" said Sasuke. "You'll find out." Team 8, Hinata Hyuga, Abarame Shino, and Inuzaka Kiba. Your sensei will be Kurina Yui. Team 9 still in circulation. So Team 10, Shikamaru Nara, Choji Akamichi, and Ino Yamanaka. What? Said Ino as she slunk down. I'm stuck with Lazy Boy and Fat Boy. As she began to cry. Fake anime tears. Yes, Sensei is Asuma Saratobi. Damn, they thought. Team 11. Menma Uzumaki. It's Namikaze, shouted Menma. Alright. Menma Namikaze. Mito Namikaze. It's Uzumaki Namikaze, said Mito. Alright. As everybody was looking over. Mito Uzumaki Namikaze. Naruto Uzumaki Nama. If you dare finish that word, I swear you'll lose something very important to you. As Iruka gulped at Naruto's harsh tone. Naruto Uzumaki, your joining sensei will be Kushina Uzumaki. Mom? Thought Mito. Alright, your sensei should be here shortly. As Iruka left the classroom. This is where I'm leaving it off. Bye!